Hi, it's Michael Kerr here, presenting Small Business Banter. A healthy micro and small business sector means a successful economy and a more vibrant society. Small Business Banter is about helping regional business owners better prepare for current challenges, but also for the next stage of business success. I'm Michael Kerr, founder of Kerr Capital, advisors to business owners. Each week, I interview a fellow small business owner or an expert, and they share their stories, their lived experiences, the wins and the losses, and their best advice to help you, the listener, get the most you can from your own business. Small Business Banter is brought to you from the studios of 104.7 Gippsland FM and is heard across Australia on the Community Radio Network. And thanks also to Kerr Capital, supporters of the show. Welcome into another edition of Small Business Banter Community Radio and Podcast. I was driving through Yass about 6 or 8 weeks ago and met Daniel Neuhaus, who's in today, chatting with us about his coffee roasting and retail business. I had a couple of great espressos there. So welcome in, Daniel.
Thank you very much, Michael. It's good to be here.
Yeah, it was kind of fortuitous that we bumped into each other over a coffee, and we got chatting about your business, and I was really keen to have this discussion with you and get you to share, like a really interesting start to the business, and high growth, and then all the challenges that all small business owners face. And I think sometimes it's great, to share those experiences, the good, the bad, and the amongst the small business community to keep everyone motivated. So, do you just want to give us a little bit of the names of the businesses that you have and what you do day to day in that lovely cafe in Yass?
Yeah. I have run two businesses that are very connected, but also a little bit separate. Our Six8 coffee roasters is the first business that I started about 9 years ago, and that's we roast coffee.
Yep.
And then sort of out of that, started a cafe as a partnership with two other businesses, and that cafe is called Trader & Co. But have been the sole proprietor of the cafe for the last 18 months.
Right. Yeah, and you've got a beautiful space. How many square meters have you got in the?
I'm really bad with space. I think it's about 400 square meters. I probably should know, but yeah, I think it's about 400.
It's beautifully appointed, and your roasting equipment's out the back.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So, what was the 11? Was it 11 or 13 years that you've since you
9 years ago? We started
9 years.
Coffee
Yeah.
roasting,
Okay. What did you do? I really want to focus in on what the businesses are today, but what did you do prior to jumping into a coffee business?
The origin of our, especially the coffee business, is quite dear to my heart. Before starting roasting coffee, my wife and I were working in Christian missions. Most immediately before we were in Sydney, and that's where I actually started roasting in our spare bedroom there. We'd spent some time in Vanuatu and Thailand and Brazil majoritively, working with communities and slums, and just kind of underprivileged people, so the coffee roasting business came out of very much a desire to be able to help make a better world, to be able to sow money into some of these areas, specifically into like child sex trafficking and prostitution. That was sort of definitely a big motivation for starting a business.
Yeah.
That's where Six8 Coffee Roasters came out of.
And so in your travels, you something twigged, particularly with the way coffee was farmed and harvested, that you came back and thought there's got to be a more ethical fairer way to source here in Australia our coffee. Is that?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So there's you must have seen a lot of things that were troubling, and but for whatever reason that this came to you, and so you came back to Australia and thought we can, and as you still do today, is some of your profits from or revenue go to particular causes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So your wife and your son, and then you started roasting in your bedroom. You must have had the window open.
Yeah. Yeah, we lived in a sort of a complex of units, and all our neighbours like, is someone burning the toast? Like, what's going on? What is that smell? And
no, that's high grade coffee.
Yeah. we eventually educated them into that smell being a good smell.
Yeah. Okay.
And now that smell wafts throughout Yass.
Yeah. Well, that's part of the experience of for coffee lovers to smell and look, and so you saw you saw things, you wanted to do something, and you hadn't had any coffee experience prior.
No, not at all.
No, okay.
It wasn't even particularly. It was probably in Brazil that I really became a big coffee lover. Of course, coffee is life in Brazil, really. That was where I really, I guess, got passionate about coffee, but also really started to see where there was just a lot of exploitation in that industry. I guess in coffee and in cocoa and cotton. Started to really come to understand the exploitation that majoritively went on in those industries, and just thought, it's got to be a better way.
Yeah, and part of that better way was to inform and educate your customers that by saying we're sourcing more ethically, and but also how far forward does when someone's buying your coffee, because you've got a basically a wholesale commercial business that you roast coffee and you wholesale it, and you also sell it into the Cafe Trader and Co. Which is out the front.
Yeah, so we've got our retail customers, and then also I guess it's quite it's really nice to be able to engage with our consumers as well. So I guess I get to personally, when I'm working on the coffee bar, serving coffees and serving our customers, I get to really personally engage with our customers on that level as well. And when they're buying coffee beans, but also when they're buying coffees.
Right. So how do you how do you tell customers that they're contributing to that, making a difference?
Yeah. So I guess very very simplistically, we give $1 from every kilo of coffee that we sell to organisations that are working to prevent, rescue, and rehabilitate children from sex trafficking.
Right. So it's made clear that certain percentage of this revenue goes into these causes. So
I guess so that I'm in a way maybe a little bit proud about the model that we've come up with, that it's not a percentage of profits. It is literally like when you buy a kilo of coffee, $1 from that kilo goes directly into that cause. I guess I made that decision very early on because I felt there was a lot of fudge room with percentage of profits.
Sure is.
Because, as a director of a company where you can choose how much profit's left over at the end of the day, really, there's a lot of flexibility in that. And there's definitely stories of, companies that say they give 10% or, 1% even or whatever, but actually,
after they've been to their tax accountant and then
that's it. So that's I guess that comes out before profit. It is an actual just dollar figure that comes out before profit. It's very tangible, so I guess that's a very tangible thing. That happens.
It's very clean as well. It's it's a royalty almost. When someone pays whatever they pay, some of that goes on to something that supports the causes that you're championing. So very very clean. And we were just chatting before, and there's social enterprise as a model has emerged. Been around for a long time, and it's called different things, but certainly social enterprise the last 10, 15 years has just exploded. And so I think it's spurned a lot of people doing a lot of great things, but as you say, it can get a bit fuzzy as to what is or isn't a social enterprise. And I think you've kind of taken a view that you're more self-described as a business with purpose and a very clear pattern or a very clear mechanism for supporting the causes that you nominate.
Yeah. And so we currently support three, I guess they're charities, but organisations that are working on the ground. And two of them we actually worked with in our time in missions, one in Thailand and one in Cambodia. And so we worked with those organisations. They're very much working the prevention space. So they're sort of identified the poorest kind of villages where children were being kind of sent from and ending up in the cities as prostitutes, sought to actually to go there to work with those families and try and I guess work out what those problems were that were meaning that parents felt that they were either being tricked or willingly sending their children off to the city to earn money in fairly nefarious ways.
Yeah. Okay. So it can be a long way away physically, but also emotionally. It's very easy to just focus on your own life day to day, and so this is something that everyone can you make them a little bit more aware of and feel like they're directly supporting them. So it's a great thing you do. Now we're going to get to. You're also a small business, and you also have all the challenges and excitement that goes with that. But as a business that's got a very clearly stated purpose, how's that helped the business, and particularly how's it helped you and your wife as the founders?
Look, I think in a way it's probably just really shaped the way we do business. I wouldn't necessarily. Yeah, I mean, financially, it probably hasn't really helped. It's probably easier to turn a dollar just not doing the right thing necessarily.
Well, just doing the normal thing, yeah.
Yeah, or the normal thing, yeah. Sorry, not necessarily not the right thing, but just doing the normal thing.
Yeah.
But I think also I before starting our business, very much had a view of business as being a really bad thing, that that businesses were all businesses were just out to reap the world and
exploit
people and all that kind of stuff, and there was no good in business. And I don't know what it was particularly, but something slowly over time before we started the business, I started to see actually that there was a lot of power in business to do good. And so I guess that was part of also the foundation of us starting, was seeing that business can be used as a force for good. And so I guess that's kind of just shaped every decision that we make, and the way in which we do business, and the way we even the interactions, the way we treat our staff and our customers and all those things is really shaped by that idea that business can be used to do good.
On today's edition of Small Business Banter Community Radio and Podcast, chatting with Daniel Neuhaus from Yass and from 6/8 Coffee and Trader & Co. There's a bit of a like a trade-off there. You said it does cost money. The money is that you donate is straight out of your top line, so straight out of your bottom line as well. But it's also when you I think you kind of hinted at it pretty clearly, that it helps you, get up and get started every day, because it gives, it's a business doing some good, and I assume that sustains you and your wife beyond perhaps a normal business that just does what it does purely for money.
Yeah, Yeah, definitely.
You got to be, have some of both. But yeah,
Yeah,
I figure that there's an extra even for staff to say, well, we're doing something good here. As you said, business can be for good.
no, for sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, we have a great team of staff, and I think they all enjoy working with us. And yeah, I think that's just part of the culture that we create.
Yeah, no, well, it had a really, fantastic vibe, and there was a great coffee. That's why we got chatting. So, if we can start to, this was your first business, and you started it, and so it's a big leap. What have
Yeah.
been the biggest challenges you've had so far, and how have you gone about dealing with the challenges?
Biggest challenges. I mean, it's hard not to focus on the last 2 years, really, and COVID.
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
it's definitely been a big challenge. Um,
But yeah, I know COVID's just like so front of mind. But if you try maybe go back 6 or 8 years, like you started
yeah,
roasting in the bedroom, and then
yeah,
it's like a tech startup. We're in the
yeah,
bedroom. So to go from buying your own equipment to then
mm,
starting a retail business, like
yeah.
that's a fairly
Yeah. It's probably actually just been getting the traction and the market share really uh, without. I guess we've had a very organic growth. We haven't really pumped money into marketing and advertising and all that kind of stuff. So pretty much in everything we've done, it's very much been organic and just about slowly building up the customer base and word of mouth and that kind of stuff. That's probably just because I'm not really passionate about marketing.
yeah.
Started to really delve into that a bit more and engage some professionals and stuff in that area.
Okay, that's a big next step, isn't it? To
Yeah, definitely.
yeah.
It's probably just been that growth and maybe sometimes being frustrated by the slowness of the growth, and just sort of being like, oh, this is, it's taking forever. Come on, like,
Yeah,
let's just grow already. Come on.
we're doing good, but we're doing good a bit too slowly for me.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I think um, the 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 person that introduced us, was I think you have maybe you've taken the initiative to have mentors or is that
Uh,
I mean, is
uh,
that's one of the things it struck me that you've asked questions of people and you've sought
yeah.
support.
So yes, our mutual friend Michael, sort of probably a few years ago, um, just asked him. He runs an amazing and very successful and also very ethical business in a very different sector.
Yep.
But yeah, just wanted to, I guess, learn from him, and so yeah, sought him out to, just kind of mentor me, and so um, asked if we could meet up once a fortnight or once a month or whatever, and so we as much as possible. He's very busy, but yeah, he does carve out a bit of time for me just to we just kind of chat and talk business and talk life, and it's quite inspiring, I guess, and
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
it's good to have him as a mentor, and have a few different mentors around the place actually, which is
Right.
nice. Yeah.
Look, it's there. However you cut it, when you start a business, or even if you go and buy one, there's usually one or two. You with your wife do this, but it's still there are things that come up that you just need to ask someone about,
Yeah.
to talk to someone about. And a good mentor or a few mentors is I think is an incredibly important thing to do to sustain because the business kind of is heavily dependent on one or two individuals and got to
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
what I think I read also that there was some local support. Was there? There was. I mean, there seems to be. Was it camp? There's a maybe it was a seminar or something. innovation network, that Canberra Innovation Network.
Yep. Yeah. Well, we actually we did sort of feature at the Canberra Innovation Network showcase. Must have been last year. Might have been year before. I don't know. Can't remember.
Yeah.
Seems such a blur the last couple of years. Which was quite good, and to actually had been a part of a course called GRIS, which is run by the Neuhaus in Canberra, and they are in turn supported. They're supported by the Canberra Innovation Network.
Yeah.
And so that course was a social enterprise.
Oh, okay.
I guess it was aimed at startups, social enterprise startups. Of course, we were well into the journey, but it was very helpful for us to I guess help put some language and stuff around, what it is that we do.
Yeah, it's another form of external support, and there's been a fair bit of it around, particularly the last few years, and so it's got to to take the time to to find out and absorb. There's a lot of as you say, business. There's a lot of good people that want to see businesses prosper. So we roll forward now. What's the outlook for the next few years for the businesses?
Well, I'm actually in the process of really trying to separate out the two businesses a bit more to get a bit of better insight into how each one is kind of running separately. So I guess I'm a sole trader actually still, and running both. I guess so. Really, they're both two brands I'm running under.
But they're all mingled as a financial entity. They're mingled together, and
absolutely, yeah.
You started to think about this organic thing got away on me, and it's like 2 in 1.
Yeah,
it happens so much.
Yeah.
You need to take stock and say, well, they're different kinds of businesses as well, right? They grow at different rates, and they need different kinds of employees, and so it's a question of what am I? What kind of business do we want to be?
And I guess also, I mean, also had the opportunity when we took on. So we started the cafe with our business partners nearly 6 years ago now, and then bought out the other business partners at the beginning of 2021. So they were just ready to move on and have real jobs and that kind of thing. And of course, had done a year of COVID, and it was definitely hard. So we took on the whole cafe, and had the opportunity then, I guess, to brand it all as 6/8 Coffee Roasters, and it just be one thing. But just had the I guess idea that 6/8 Coffee was still a very exportable brand, whereas Trader & Co. was our cafe is our local kind of brand. And so, I mean, I'm not thinking export as in international export, but just we can export our coffee around Australia.
Yeah, you can go online.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, whereas I'm not wanting to franchise Trader & Co. It is very much a local cafe. It's very much part of our community.
Yeah.
So I guess that was part of also the, wanting to just get a bit better clarity on what each business is doing. 6/8 Coffee is able to, be exported into other cafes and be used in other cafes and venues and things like that. Whereas Trader & Co. is the place to come and to hang out, and it's community and it's all those things. So
no, it's an evolution right there where you do ask the question, and it should be asked on a regular basis. What for you it can look like your business, but typically I look at them from an external perspective. There's 2, maybe 3 sometimes business units, and you've got to be clear about what your objectives are, and where you spend your energy, where you spend your money, and it can get away on you when you've got so sort of a hectic retail business. It's I'm sure it's busy in both, but they're different kinds of busy, and so where you want to, and also where you want to see your most impact longer term. Might, as you say, to be able to scale and grow a roasting and then an e-commerce or an online business. So that's it's been a really great chat, Daniel. To just hear another entrepreneur, has gone out there and started it with a very clear purpose, which is dual purpose: build a good business that's scalable and saleable, but also, along the way do good. So I really, it's a fantastic thing you've done, and good luck as you go, on the next whatever you do next. Do you just want to shout out a little bit about the websites or whatever you'd like to about the two businesses, and then
Trader and Co. Our cafe is in Yass. Our socials, our handle is Trader and Co. I'd love it if you came and visit us in Yass. Our coffee brand, 6/8 Coffee Roasters. Our social handles are so the word 6, the number 8 coffee, and then our website is 68coffee.com. Love it if you support us, and thanks for listening.
Well, as I said, it's great to have you on, Daniel. Thank you so much for your time, and go well.
Cheers. Thanks, Michael.
So that's all for today's episode of Small Business Banter. I continue to be inspired, bringing you small business experts and other small business owners and hearing their stories. If you want to listen to any past episode, jump onto your podcast platform of choice and search Small Business Banter. There you will find a diverse and fascinating collection of small business owners and experts openly discussing and sharing their experiences. For any of the links, resources, or information we've talked about on the show today, or to contact me, please head over to smallbusinessbanter.com, or you can find us on Facebook and Instagram. And it would be great to have you tune in the same time next week for another episode of Small Business Banter.